Today's episode is brought to you by Golf Kicks. Tired of wearing the same old pair of boring golf shoes? Not the most comfortable out on the course? Now you don't have to worry. Customize all types of shoes from Crocs to flip-flops, sneakers to boat shoes. Wear them in style while you rip it up out on the course. Head over to golfkicks.com and use code OWN20 at checkout to get a 20% discount on your order. That's code OWN20. Screw your shoes.
All right, everybody, it is Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. Today we got some more news on the Aaron Rodgers drama, and DK Metcalf is set to try out this weekend for the 100-meter dash Olympic trials.
Things are getting shaky in Green Bay here, and we're about to settle it out here.
There goes that man's jock strap. Oh my God, did you see that?
America's team? Yeah, right.
Oh, baby, it's a big day in sports. There's nothing like battling it out with your teammates all season long to go win a championship. Green Bay's got it this year. Huge move for them. I think it's going to be a game changer.
We have a lot to talk about this busy week in the sports world. Welcome to the In a League of Their Own podcast.
All right, again, welcome to the show, everybody. Just diving right into the meat of the topic today. Aaron Rodgers. Everybody's been kind of following that story. What's the news on his situation?
So recent news coming out from an insider from Green Bay who's been a reporter for the last 40 seasons for the Green Bay Packers basically stated that somebody leaked that Aaron Rodgers openly mocks Gutekunst in team messages to teammates, calling him Jerry Krause, similar to kind of picking at the GM and like Jordan did back in the day. I don't know if this is some type of power move, him thinking that he is better than everyone, like who you don't really, you're not supposed to speak bad of anybody in your organization when you're the face of a franchise. But yeah, I don't know. Seems like a mini cyber attack is underway from Team 12 here towards Green Bay Packers. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's looking for dirt on this guy at this point. Like, heck, private conversations between teammates are getting leaked out. So that means that either people are hacking into shit or Rodgers' own teammates are starting to throw him under the bus, because obviously this getting leaked makes Rodgers look bad if he's basically bad-mouthing his GM behind closed doors and in private conversations, because Rodgers has yet to come out, and that was something kind of watching Max and Stephen A talk about on First Take yesterday. Rodgers has yet to publicly come out and, like, in front of a camera, in front of a mic, on a podium, at any kind of level, and just lay down where he's at. It's all been paraphrased or referenced or through sources that have yet to be named, really. They just say inside sources. So, I mean, until that happens, I kind of take everything that happens with a grain of salt with him. But at the same time, once it starts getting to the point that his own teammates are starting to leak stuff, if there's a screenshot of a conversation, that would obviously add more credibility to it. But yeah, either way, this doesn't look good for Rodgers. I was in the beginning, I was kind of leaning towards his side with the whole situation, but if he decides to get messy with it, then he just looks unprofessional at that point.
Yeah, and also I know how you were speaking about like the insider or sources say, but this is guy who did report this information is very credible, as he has reported for the last 40 seasons for the Packers. He's been pretty much spot on. And he also reported that a close insider, a close friend to Aaron Rodgers, he didn't say former teammate or current teammate. I'm assuming this might be a teammate due to what the information, but Rodgers, it says that he has a less than 2% chance that he will return to Green Bay this season, and he's willing to pay all fines necessary to sit out games. So that kind of right there shows that shit is kind of getting real. And then also along those lines, there were 5 potential trades that were on the board for him. None none of which came through. They're all speculative to come through after June 1st due to the money reasons for a lot of teams. But the first one was to the Denver Broncos, that we would get Patrick Surtain, Tim Patrick, Drew Lock in a 2022 and a 2023 first round for Aaron Rodgers and Eric Stokes. What do you think about that one?
I mean, Denver's kind of been the team that's stuck out, I guess, so far. As you dive into the other ones to see kind of, I guess, what if those are better deals or if those are just again speculative, and if somebody within the organization said, "Oh, this would be cool if this happened," kind of like yesterday how we were talking about straight up Russell Wilson for Aaron Rodgers. That'd be a cool scenario that would happen, though it's highly unlikely. But yeah, I mean, for Denver, obviously you're taking a step down from Rodgers to Drew Lock by a big shot, but you are getting some defensive like firepower, which they need as well. Obviously, Patrick Surtain would be a better fit for Green Bay than Eric Stokes, even though Eric Stokes I think would be faster. That's really the only thing that Eric Stokes has over Surtain. But yeah, a couple first round picks. Obviously, the Packers would have to take a lull for this year, try to take maybe the top quarterback out of next year's draft, whatever that would look like. But yeah.
Or do you think they go, like, if they were to get those draft picks, do you think maybe they shop Lock and 4 first rounders and try to maybe get like Jimmy G?
Yeah, that could be an option as well. Aaron Rodgers is going to come at a high price. Not very many teams are going to be willing to give up a handful of star players. They're going to use draft picks as collateral to try to for him. So if Green Bay was smart, which kind of looking at their offseason antics and how they have treated drafts recently, this year being a little better than past years, but it'd be awesome to see them use 3-4 draft picks to go out and get a Russell Wilson, a Jimmy G, somebody high caliber next year, because again, the cap space is going up. A lot of guys are on 1-year deals, so Green Bay would really be in the driver's seat with the amount of first round picks they'd get for Rodgers and kind of the value that they'd be able to go out and get a big quarterback.
Yeah, ESPN and a lot of people, insiders, Shefty, and a lot of those guys, they've all speculated that the minimum that it's going to require to at least have interest from the Packers would be 2 firsts and a second round pick minimum to at least answer the phone. So let's move over here to the second potential offer here on the table. That'd be to the Washington football team for Fitzmagic, Matt Ioannidis, 2 first round picks, 1 in 2022, 1 in 2023, and a second round pick in each of those as well, straight up for Aaron Rodgers. What do you think about this deal?
I like this one a little bit better than Denver. I definitely say Fitzmagic is a better quality guy than Drew Lock, especially with how much he's bounced around, had to learn new playbooks, new schemes, new cultures, and all the teams he's been on, and he still comes out and wins football games. Like Fitzmagic most recently came from Miami, going to Washington, a little bit of a colder climate. I don't know if he's ever, aside from his time in
Jets.
That'd be the only time he's ever been in a colder climate. So I don't know if that would be an issue for him, but yeah, I would like that deal better than the Denver one. Just with Fitzmagic would be able to step in right away and do better than Locke.
Same, yeah. And Fitzmagic, you never know what you're gonna get. You know, he could salvage a season, you make the playoffs, and you never know what happens when you get to the playoffs. I still feel like, yeah, you're still getting the same draft capital, except you're getting second round picks as well. And then instead of a corner, you're just getting a D lineman. So I definitely think this is the front runner so far for potential deals on the table. The third deal is to the Miami Dolphins. This would be a 3-way deal here involving the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Packers would get a first round via San Francisco from the Dolphins in 2022. They would get a first round pick, whichever is better, from Miami or San Francisco in 2023. They would also get a 5th round pick from the Dolphins in 2023. Then they would also get a first round pick from Pittsburgh in 2022. So right there would put the Packers at 3 first-round picks for next season, 2 for the following season, and then a 5th round for the 2023 season. Steelers would get Tua Tagovailoa, and the Dolphins would get Aaron Rodgers and a 4th-round pick in 2023. What do you think about this deal?
I mean, this would be definitely a rebuild trade that would happen. Kind of going through it, the Packers aren't getting a quarterback out of it.
Yeah, but like
So
we said, with all that capital, they could easily trade to get a guy.
yeah, I mean, 5 first-round picks in total between next year and the following year. That's huge. Again, whether you use that to trade to get other people, or you just use it to get some of the top guys out of the draft for the next 2 years and kind of rebuild that team. Whether it's trying to get the best quarterback out of the draft next year or the following year, more offensive weapons, building up that defense even more. That would be all right, we've accepted our loss with Rodgers. Let's rebuild and look to win a Super Bowl in 2 to 4 years. Which obviously, like the Packers are definitely what they have right now, this given moment with Aaron Rodgers on that roster. They're in Super Bowl form right now. So obviously, it sucked to see them take a step back a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it would be. I don't know. I still like the Washington trade a little bit better than this one, just because it involves a quarterback, so that they're not rushing to try to put together a trade deal to get somebody else, or they're just stuck with who they have, whether that be Jordan Love or Tim Boyle.
I like this deal as a long-term option. If we do move him and they come out and say, okay, everybody, we're addressing that we are going through a rebuild, this would be the option I hope we do take. But if it's not, and we're hoping to still continue to be relevant to whatever, then yeah, the Fitzmagic deal for sure so far, I think would be the best. But long term, you get 5 first-round picks in the next 2 seasons. We're arguably take Rodgers away, we're a quarterback and maybe an offensive weapon away. That's not that you never know who's going to rise and shine out of the draft and come out of all these. You have nobody has no clue what's going to happen down the road. So I feel like that wouldn't be a terrible thing to have the draft capital. And if there's nobody in the draft, then you move your picks, you get a guy, and you look to a team who needs to get somebody that's, you know what I mean? I feel like that if we go long term, this should be the option that we go so far. 4th option, New York Giants. We would get wide receiver Darius Slayton, 2022 first, 2022 first from Chicago, and a 2023 first round conditional pick straight up for Aaron Rodgers. Thoughts?
I mean, Darius Slayton would fix the offensive weapons issue. He'd definitely be a wide receiver 2 across from Adams.
And then you still have your 5 first round draft picks
in
the next 2 years.
So, yeah, I mean, this one is very similar to the last one with Pittsburgh and Miami. Again, I'd prefer a deal that you get a quarterback out of it, just because nothing's guaranteed. A quarterback might be happy where they're at and might not be open to a trade, no matter if you give up 3, 4, 5 first round picks for them. So then you're stuck rebuilding and trying to get a young stud out of the draft and try to work with that. So I'm kind of in the same boat with this one as that Miami Pittsburgh deal, as far as not getting a quarterback straight up. And even if they threw Daniel Jones, I still wouldn't be happy with that trade.
And then here's the last potential one on the table. Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield, David Njoku, 2022 first and a 2023 first for Rodgers and cornerback Josh Jackson. Thoughts?
See, I like this one the most. I've really come to like Baker over the last year or two. He kind of, I don't want to compare him to Johnny Manziel in his first year or so, but he kind of gave me those kind of vibes, with just kind of his goofiness, his mistakes on the field. Although he didn't have the off the field issues like Manziel did. But yeah, I've come to like Baker Mayfield a lot over the last year or two, and especially for him to lead that team to their first playoff berth in 2 decades, get a win against their division rival Steelers. Not only a win, but they piss pounded them, putting up 28 points in the first quarter and never really looked back from there. Um, yeah, I think Baker coming to Green Bay, very similar fan base, just like deep in their football roots, same climate, so that wouldn't be an issue. And I mean, if anything, it'd be a little bit of a step down for Baker as far as offensive weapons because he's got Nick Chubb, who is right up there with Aaron Jones. I would say I'd give Aaron Jones the edge over Nick Chubb right now. But then he's got Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr., which are two guys that obviously combined for more value and production than Devontae Adams does alone. But if you bring David Njoku over and have him in tandem with Robert Tunyon, I don't know. This deal I would definitely like the most if it's one that's if it's again just speculation or if it's just one that actually could happen. I don't know. We'll see. But at the same time, Cleveland just put together a playoff team for the first time in how long with who they had. If they give up Baker and Njoku, they're kind of taking a little bit of a step back with just getting Rodgers.
Are they though? Going from Baker Mayfield being your quarterback to Aaron Rodgers being your quarterback?
I mean, I guess if like Landry and Odell can stay healthy, then that team would be just as good, if not a little bit better than last year. But and then kind of then beefing up their defense as well, getting Sheldon Richardson. Trying to think who they got at the draft as a linebacker, but yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be the best deal overall for both sides.
Well, they brought Clowney in.
Clowney, yep. So I don't know. I like that. I definitely out of the 5, I definitely like the Cleveland one the most.
Yeah, same. I just don't feel like we need the tight end though. We have Sternberger and Tunyon, which do a great job for us. They know the playbook. Packers do have one of the more complicated playbooks in the league. So that'd be a tough task for Baker to learn the plays. But I feel like, yeah, he comes over here, you give him one transitional season, then you go for it. But yeah, that's all I have for the Rodgers stuff today. That's really all that came out about that. I don't know. Do you have any more stuff on Rodgers?
I guess just one point. It's kind of that came out within the hour. Brett Favre had kind of voiced his opinion on the whole Rodgers situation, compared it kind of to his departure with Green Bay in 2008, and then Barry Sanders with the Lions back in the 90s as well. Just kind of making comparisons with those. Favre said he knows Rodgers pretty well. Obviously, a lot more than probably most people, just because they were teammates and they keep in touch on a regular basis, from my understanding. So Favre said that he thinks Rodgers has a strong connection to obviously Green Bay, the fan base, and all this and that. It's just the front office that he has an issue with. So it's not like he has apologies with teammates or just kind of like stuff to smooth over and it's like, all right, sweep it under the rug, and he just comes back in. He said it's unlikely that he thinks Rodgers would come back, given that it's front office issues, and that's not something that a team just fires their entire front office unless you're the Texans. But also that's a special case in and of itself, what's going on down there. But yeah, it was just interesting to see Favre give his take on it and kind of say that he doesn't think Rodgers is coming back unless the cards fall just right.
Yeah, that's a credible source. Like I said, feel like he's kind of got his feet dug in at this point, and we'll see as time goes on what happens. No one really knows. And yeah, moving on from that point, Denver Broncos right tackle Juwan James tears his Achilles tendon in a workout outside of the Broncos facility. The injury is considered to be a season-ending injury, and James will have surgery to repair it. Pretty shitty news here. Given James' injury occurred when he wasn't inside Broncos team facility, it could technically be classified as a non-football injury or an NFI, and the Broncos would not be obligated to pay his salary this season of $9.85 million. I think that's pretty fucking shitty, especially if you just signed him to a $51 million contract last year, that you're not going to pay the guy and he gets hurt. If they wouldn't pay me, I'd ask for a trade immediately and say, you guys can go fuck yourselves, because that's bullshit. I'm working out to better myself to help you guys, and you're gonna punish me for it. Like, I could understand if it was a situation like the other day with the pitcher breaking his finger playing video games or something like that. But this wasn't. He was working out and he fucking tore his Achilles. Like, what do you want from the guy?
Yeah.
So that's my stance on it. And I feel like if the Denver Broncos do that, fuck you, John Lynch. Or
Yeah,
not
no-
John Lynch. He's San Francisco.
Yeah.
My apologies. Who's the John Elway?
John Elway, yeah.
Elway, yeah. Fuck you, Elway, if you don't pay him.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Again, the NFL's a business. Teams are going to look for a loophole. Obviously, the Denver Broncos would save almost $10 million. So obviously, as a business, they're saving money in that respect. But at the same time, like it sucks for a team to look for loopholes to not pay a guy, right? To classify it as a non-football injury. To say, I mean, yes, it is a non-football injury because it occurred outside the facility, but it's almost also throwing it under the umbrella of if he was out doing something stupid, got drunk, and like hurt himself. That's putting that in the same category as what just happened now. It's all under that same umbrella, which is dumb.
Same, like if you get to the car crash too, that's not football.
Mm-hmm.
You're just gonna not pay the fucking guy because some drunk guy runs a red light and hits him?
Yeah. So
Like, Jesus.
Can't
Can't believe this even made the news.
I know.
That this was even a thing that they're considering not paying the man. Like, what the fuck are you doing here, NFL?
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully he does get paid in some capacity, even if he doesn't get his full $9.85 million salary for the year. Maybe he takes a cut. Like, work out something with the guy. Don't just not pay him at all.
Or if they're not going to pay him for this season, be like, okay, fucking give me the rest of my contract money, and
yeah,
because that's still $43 million.
For him to buy out.
Yeah. Or excuse me, 42, because it's 51 million they signed him.
Okay.
But yeah, do you have anything else in the NFL? I just have one more point.
Yeah. I guess the other main point, kind of that we're going to talk about today, DK Metcalf. They're going to be trying out this weekend on Sunday for the 100-meter dash trials for the Olympics. Everybody's seen the clips, the memes of him chasing down Buda Baker, topping out at almost 23 miles per hour, chasing him down. Dude's got speed. He's got long strides, and that's with a helmet, cleats, pads, all that stuff on. So obviously, on a track, he's going to be even faster than that. But at the same time, this is Olympic speed. This is people who all they do is run on a track. So it'd be interesting to see, I guess, how he's been training for this, because it just recently came out this week that he's going to do it. So I don't know if it's just kind of on a whim he's doing it, or if it's something he's been training for a while. But he's basically got to hit 10.05 and he qualifies for the Olympic trial runs. So just kind of, which is the next step after this. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But at the same time, the Olympics are going to be late July, early August, which is about the time NFL teams start getting together. So I don't know if that's going to hinder his NFL season if he did qualify for the Olympics, if he's training, probably leaning up a little bit to run on the track, and then football season comes where he wants to be a little beefier and a little more weight behind him. So be interesting to see, I guess, how that plays out for him.
Yeah, I personally think he's going to get his ass kicked. These guys fucking have been practicing sprinting and running their whole entire lives. Yeah, I get DK Metcalf did track and stuff when he was in college and high school and all that. And yeah, he is really fast, but he's NFL fast. He ain't track fast. Like, there's a complete difference. Form, everything, how you run. Yeah, granted, it does help him out that it's not a 40 because his legs are a little bit longer and it takes him maybe 15, 20 yards to get going. So the 100 will benefit him in that aspect, but I still don't think he's even going to sniff like the top guy right now for the US just ran like a 9.5 last weekend. And it's just like, holy shit. Like, that's so fast. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he's that. I think he's fast, but he ain't track fast.
No, I
personally.
could see him running close to a 10-1, which again would be super
Really?
fast.
I think he's going to be about 11 because
Uh,
that's fast.
I guess, yeah. I guess it.
Dude, 11 is fast.
Yeah, because I know in high school the fastest I ever ran was like a 12.2 in 100. So if he's running an 11, that's the second fast, and if he's running closer to a 10, he's fucking drinking coffee at the finish line before I even get there. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. He could. I don't know. I kind of agree with what you said. NFL fast is way different than track fast. So
Just the whole mechanics and running and everything is just completely different.
Well, that's the thing too. In a lot of cases, NFL, because track, you come from a standstill, go. NFL, you're
running.
You're moving, and then you have quick bursts.
That's
through
like a
your
relay.
routes.
He'd be better at a relay, like the 4x1 relay. I feel like he'd be better at because you're that little moving, and then
Yeah.
where instead of you're starting out of the blocks, you got to learn how to get all used to that stuff, and yeah, it's a whole process.
Yeah. And then I guess the one other NFL point I had today, Tom Brady came out this week and said that he would trade 2 of his Super Bowls in place of a perfect 19-0 season that Eli Manning and the Giants cut short for them back in the 2000s. So, yeah, without or kind of just watching the clip of it without hesitation, he's like, "Oh yeah, and I don't blame him. I mean, when you got 7, why
And
not?
he's gonna get a couple more.
Why not trade 2 for? He's always chasing perfection. Obviously, Super Bowl is basically the top mark that you can hit. Really, the only notch above that is a perfect season ending in a Super Bowl win. So, when you're Tom Brady, your goals are leaps and bounds ahead of other people's goals. So, yeah, it was just interesting to see his take on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything else to come out of his mouth. He's a true competitor, and he knows he's going to win a couple more. So yeah, I'll give up a couple. Give me that perfect season, and I'll just win them back. So it's like I never lost them.
Yeah, exactly.
And the last thing I have on the NFL today here is general manager's son for the Jacksonville Jaguars says Tim Tebow, how he was in there for a tryout last week, getting a workout in at tight end. He basically said that they're not shooting him down and they are potentially going to extend him an offer. They haven't really seen what he's done at tight end, as that wasn't his position before in the NFL. Urban Meyer really loves his personality and loves what he can bring to the charisma to like the team, as far as the type of leader that he is. Whether or not he plays a handful of plays or he's playing every single snap, I feel like good people are always somebody who you can take on a team who are good athletes and you can use them. Like, personally, I feel like the best teams are good people who are great athletes instead of great athletes who are shitty people. I feel like it's got to be a great balance and a great mixture of good people and good athletes. So bringing in a great person like that to the building always is going to help, especially you have young Trevor Lawrence in there, and maybe you can give him some tips on, what it's like to be a rookie. And Tebow was he was the face of everything from the time he stepped foot in Florida, and that's kind of still followed him everywhere he goes. And now you have Trevor Lawrence, who's there, which is kind of like that same sort of feel. He can maybe help him out and give him some pointers.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how that story develops. Like you said, Tim Tebow, maybe his athleticism isn't exactly what it used to be. Obviously, changing positions as well, but just to have a guy like that at your facility, like you said, good for team charisma, and obviously he's going to have a lot of knowledge to bring to the table. Switching over to the NBA here, just a quick note on Milwaukee Bucks. They took down the Nets last night again, 124-118. Giannis and Middleton combined for 59 points. It's great to see kind of back and forth. In the first half, the Bucks were up 10, blew the lead. They were down by 6 in the fourth with 10 minutes left, and then went on an 18-1 run. The Nets, I think, went 0 for 6 in that stretch. Had some turnovers, things like that. Now Milwaukee sits only a game and a half behind Brooklyn, and they're back in Milwaukee tonight as they host Westbrook and the Wizards. So kind of looking at the schedule of the 76ers, Nets, and Bucks, none of them play each other throughout the rest of the stretch. So they're all going to have to basically go in and make sure they're winning their games, because obviously in the Bucks case, if the Nets and 76ers are playing each other, that's good, because no matter what, one of them is losing. But like I said, none of the teams play each other for the rest of the year, so they're all just going to kind of have to lock it down and control what they control. But like we've said in the past, as close as the Bucks are to being the number 2 or even the 1 seed, I hope they stay at 3, just because I don't know. History has shown us that they're not that 1 seed doesn't treat them well.
You said we're a game and a half back from second.
Yeah,
and I would totally agree with you. Like what we've spoken from since the day we started the show, is adamant on the Bucks staying in that 3rd spot. Stephen A even agreed and said the Bucks are in the driver's seat right now, and they're potentially set up with the best path to make it to the finals. I completely agree with what he's saying. I mean, seems like we're just about starting to heat up here as the playoffs are coming along. I feel like Giannis has got that sour taste in his mouth of how he's came short 2 years in a row. Middleton stepped up. The pieces we've added in the offseason and during the year are huge to the team, and I feel like we're becoming a well-oiled machine. I feel like we're going to be a tough out.
for sure. And yeah, like you said, just the kind of guys you acquired. PJ Tucker, obviously a great 3-point shooter. He's good for a couple buckets a game. Giannis has struggled from the free throw line for most of his career. He's kind of gotten better with that down the stretch. I think he went 6 for 8 from the line last night. So good to see him kind of get that figured out. And then Middleton always steps up in the fourth quarter. I think he had 9 points through 3 quarters. And then I think he had like his other 12 or 13 in the fourth quarter alone. So he steps up in clutch moments. So but yeah, the Nets are kind of the powerhouse team to go through in the East. And when you beat them twice back-to-back games, obviously, again, they are missing Harden, but the guys that they have in place of him are better defensive players. So yes, Harden comes in and puts up more points, but also Harden's defense is worse, so the Bucks score more. So it'd be interesting to see. I think the games are going to be close like this. 6-point games, 3-point games. But instead of 124, 118, it'll probably be closer to the 120s, 130s, 140s if Harden gets back on the floor.
Yeah. Like I said, everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen when they're all on the court together.
For sure. You got any NBA points?
Yeah, I just have one. Curry and the Warriors hit a nice cool streak after the lights failed down in the New Orleans Pelicans arena last night. They had some strong winds come through. The lights went out for a brief period of time. After they came back on, the Pelicans came out, rallied to win the game. Kind of sucks for Golden State as they're fighting for that last spot. But yeah, also Ball made his return last night. LaMelo, I believe he dropped 33. So kid's gonna be a stud.
Yeah, it's good to see him back. I know they're kind of talking about him being out for the rest of the year. I don't even know where the Hornets currently sit
I think
in
they're
the
out
East.
of it.
Yeah, I think they are as well. But yeah, be good for them to rebuild. LaMelo comes back in his second year. Yeah, that team's gonna have a lot of up, trending up in the next couple of years.
What division are they in?
The
East.
Are they the East? Oh yeah, they're the Eastern Conference. I'm trying to think what division they're in.
Dude, they're in
They are.
8th seed. 32 and 33. Charlotte Hornets. They're the 8th seed. Pacers are 9. Wizards are 10. So we might get to see little Ball in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that they were. That's crazy. They have a losing record and they can make the playoffs.
Yeah, dude.
But also, that's
Jeez.
nice with that play-in tournament. It's giving these teams a chance that have a shitty first 3/4 of the seasons that they get hot and break the top 10, and it gives them a chance. So I'm definitely on board for the play-in tournament as much as, I mean, LeBron kind of was salty towards it, but also he might have to play in it. So,
Well, they have a full game now in hand of Portland, so
okay.
I think they're safe. Because I believe LeBron said he was early quotes came out that he was going to sit out Thursday and Friday to rest for next week and play the rest of the week to secure their spot. If he gets, because like I said, they have a full game lead. So if they lose both games, they'll be tied for that spot. He comes back next week. He'll win him right it back into that 6th spot, and on goes the playoffs. But yeah, that's all I had for the NBA. What do we got about the MLB?
Yeah, just some couple points here in the big leagues. Brewers fall again last night to the Phillies 6-5. They're down 6-1 after 3 innings, and then they would rally and put up 4 in the 7th. They can still split the series though. It's a 4-game series. If they win tonight and tomorrow, they can split their games in Philly. The Dodgers continue their struggles as they have lost now 10 of their last 13. They had doubleheader games against the Cubs yesterday. In game 1, Clayton Kershaw would have the shortest start to his career, pitching only 1 inning. He gave up 4 runs and 39 pitches. Cubs would go on to win that one 7-1, and they would also go on to win the second game 4-3 off of David Bodie single, in which Chris Bryant would score. And then kind of the last point for today, the Yankees back on track as they move back to above 500. They're at 15-14 now. Stanton putting his 10-game hit streak on the line tonight against the Astros. I want to say he's batted 437. I think that's the number that he's batted in the last like 10, 12 games. So he's been on an absolute tear lately, and the Yankees look like they're kind of back in their fashion, and all their stars are stepping up again.
Sounds good. Do the Brewers play tonight?
Yep, they play again against the Phillies. I want to say 6:00. Again, let me check here quickly. Yep, 6:05. Same time tomorrow, I believe. Or if they play at noon tomorrow to wrap up the series. So, yeah, hopefully they can steal one, if not at least split the series with the Phillies. So NHL, what's going on over on the ice?
So on the ice last night, Josh Brown, a member of the Ottawa Senators, blocked a shot early in the second period. He continued to play through and on for the rest of the game with a clean, fractured, broken foot. Shows that he's a warrior. Playing with a complete snapped foot. I don't know how you do it, but you do it when your adrenaline's pumping, I'll tell you that. So shout out to you, man. Hopefully everything goes well on your recovery and everything goes well. Some other interesting news. Tom Wilson's actions have now led to the New York Rangers appealing the verdict and calling for George Peros, who is the Department of Player Safety head. He is the one that assessed the 5K fine and no further suspension. That seems to be deemed the final ruling. However, Peros may no longer have his position in that role after the season's over. Big game tonight. They play again at 6:00. Look, everybody wants to see a good old fashioned grudge match and a street fight. Tune in 6:00 NBCSN. I believe that game kicks off. Puck drops. So should be looking to see that right away for all the hockey fans. That's part of like the code is, you fucked up and teams coming after you. So better be ready to answer the bell right away, right at the beginning of the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. Cole Caulfield now has been moved up to the first line for the Montreal Canadiens on the right wing. He's going to get some more ice time tonight. He's also slotted in, I believe, on that first power play line. Going to be interesting to see him get some more ice time. Hopefully he continues to put the puck in the net. I'm going to be watching him tonight. That's going to be something that I'm looking forward to doing. And then the last bit of news here in the NHL that I have that I think is the coolest bit of news here. Michael Hauser, goaltender for the Buffalo Sabres. He was born with bilateral club feet and had 14 surgeries before the age of 2. He was undrafted and he spent 8.5 seasons in the AHL and ECHL. He played 73 games in the AHL, 210 games in the ECHL. His last game that he played was March 7th, 2020 in the ECHL with the Cincinnati something. I don't know why it got cut off. I apologize for that. But with Cincinnati at age 28, he has now won his first 2 NHL starts, both games that he started this week for the Buffalo Sabres, saving 79 of 84 shots faced in both those games. So pretty awesome. What a grind. What a journey going from having messed up feet being a kid to never knowing if you're actually going to make the NHL and grinding it through the pro leagues, which is a lot harder than it is in the NHL. That grind is, everybody's trying to make it to the NHL. Awesome. He finally gets a shot at 28 years old and he made it count. He's 2-0. I think they're going to play him for the rest of the season and get him in the net, and we'll see where that takes him for the next season. And that's all I got. That's really all I got.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. Any athlete that comes to a hard upbringing of physically, with their body, let alone trying to compete at that level to try to make it to the NHL. But at the back of his mind, knowing I might not be able to do anything athletic at all or walk or anything like that, that kind of stuff, it can snowball if you try to push it past the limits a little too much. So awesome to see it work out for him, and hopefully he keeps locking it down in the net. Yeah, that's all I had for today as well. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We are gonna kind of do things a little different tomorrow. So long as there's not a lot of, I guess, sports news to cover, we're gonna be kind of doing a ranking of all the NFL quarterbacks, going through them, kind of giving our take on where they belong in the mix, and just go 32-1 and just kind of debate back and forth as far as where we think quarterbacks belong. So kind of looking forward to that. Obviously, if there's big sports headlines, maybe we'll start or end the episode with that. But yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna do tomorrow.
Yeah, excited to do that. Excited to get into a little debate with you, as we've never really done that so far on this, like as far as things potentially could get heated. So yeah, I'm excited, looking forward to that. Everybody, value, any sport has their own opinion on who's the best and who isn't the best for their own reasons. So it's going to be cool to dive in and break down to see what you think. And yeah, we'll dive into that tomorrow. But thanks again, everyone, for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Pretty much we're everywhere and anywhere. If you want to find us, it's In the League of Their Own podcast or pod. Yeah, we really appreciate everyone for everything that you guys have done. You know, all the likes, all the follows, all the subscriptions, all the views. You guys are the reason that we continue to come back every single day and continue to do what we do, because we love doing it for you guys. And we hope you have a great Wednesday. It's hump day, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.